Hi everyone! So I'm here to do my, wow, I blinked for a minute, 16-week update. I had to think for a sec about how many weeks I am. Anyway, so I am 16 weeks and 2 days today. It's Wednesday. And it's been a pretty uneventful week, so this should be pretty quick. But this week the baby is the size of an avocado, or about 4.5 inches or so, and weighing about 3.5 ounces. So definitely starting to get bigger. This is kind of a picture of what the baby looks like roughly. So definitely starting to look more like a human, which is really nice to, it's kind of cool to see that progression and see when they kind of lose a lot of their alien type features and start looking more like a baby and more like what you expect. So I am this week starting to feel a lot of movement, and I think I've probably been feeling it for the last couple of weeks, at least the last week, probably longer, but I just wasn't confident that that's what it was, because I remember like the big movements from later on in pregnancy that you can like see and feel on the outside, and so like the little movements I couldn't remember as much and would kind of be like, is that baby moving, or is that just something else going on? But now I think I can confidently say that I'm definitely feeling movements and like punches and kicks and stuff like that, which is really cool. Nothing on the outside, can't feel or see anything on the outside yet, and most of the movement I feel is pretty far low down, but that's totally, you know, where it should be. And it's really cool. It's pretty erratic, so I might not feel much of anything for most of the day, and then like in the evening I'll start feeling stuff, or like this morning I was feeling quite a bit before I got out of bed, and so that's really cool. So it's like I'm really excited to start feeling that. I'm even more excited to like get to the point where it's you can feel it on the outside, because I feel like that's just so cool, and like for Eric, my husband, to be able to feel it, and for people to be able to, other people, and be able to see it and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to that. Otherwise this week, symptom-wise, things are about the same. I think I'm maybe, and I can't remember if I said this last week, I think maybe I'm starting to turn the corner with the nausea, and I think that earlier in the day, and then like the evening hits and I feel awful. So it's still not gone, but I think it's starting to get a little bit better. It's at least for a chunk of time in the middle of the day, it's not too bad. The morning is a little bit iffy and the evening is not great, but in the middle it's not too bad. I am still taking the Unisom and the B6, and I'm not sure when I'll really feel comfortable stopping that. I'll probably play around with it and see how I do stopping it maybe in the next week or so. But for now, I'm just gonna continue on that and see how I continue to feel. The fatigue is also a little bit better than it was last week. I think last week I was largely recovering from vacation, which was pretty tiring. Even though it was vacation and it was nice, it was pretty tiring. So this week I'm definitely feeling like I have a little bit more energy, although I am still pretty exhausted, especially when we get to like mid-afternoon. I feel like I kind of hit a wall and things start going downhill. One of the other symptoms that has started up that I had in my last pregnancy, but it didn't start until quite a bit later then, is when I'm sleeping, depending on what position I'm sleeping in, my hands will fall asleep, and that, at least in my last pregnancy, was, the doctor said that was a symptom of carpal tunnel syndrome, which is common in pregnancy because of the increased fluid and blood volume and all of that. Like there's more pressure put on the nerves in your wrists and stuff. So that has started, I think that was already happening for the last couple of weeks, but thankfully I'm still doing acupuncture. Right now I'm doing it every week. I have been doing it every week except when I was away. I'm probably going down to doing it every 2 or 3 weeks because I'm starting to feel a little better, but I had a session on Saturday, and I think that actually helped quite a bit because I haven't had nearly as much since then. But that is kind of popping up, and it's popping up quite a bit earlier than it did in my first pregnancy, but it's not a huge concern. Like, I know from experience that it goes away after birth, so it's not a big deal, and if I just reposition, then the blood flow gets better and I get the feeling back in my hands, so it's not a huge deal. And speaking of sleep, I am tossing and turning a bit. It's not so much, I think, having trouble getting comfortable, but just I'm just restless at night. So that's been a little bit frustrating to not feel like I'm getting as restful sleep. And then I wake up in the morning and I'm still pretty tired. But again, not too bad. And I'm sure that as I get bigger, I'll have trouble sleeping for other reasons. So I'll just try to enjoy the sleep that I'm getting now. Food-wise, nothing to report really. I feel like I should just drop that as one of the things that I talk about because there's really never anything to talk about with that. I did, on Friday, I had my second prenatal appointment, which was great, very short and sweet, and I didn't have any questions for her. It was with a nurse practitioner or nurse, not a full midwife, but some kind of higher nurse. I don't know exactly the terminology. And she asked if I had any questions, and I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, none? And like, I just don't. I feel like because I've been through it before, and I've spent a lot of time kind of learning about pregnancy and what's normal and doing my own research and stuff like that. So I feel like I have a pretty good handle on what's going on, and I just don't have a lot of questions, which feels a little bit strange, but it's nice to feel like I know what's going on and everything. I'm sure that as we get further into the pregnancy, I'll start having more questions. Maybe, we'll see. But as of now, I just didn't have anything to ask that I had thought of. And we were able to hear the heartbeat, which was really cool. She found it right away, and it was in the 150s. She didn't give like an exact number, but it was in the 150s. And so that was really cool. It was really nice to be able to hear it. And that was the first time we had heard it. We had seen it twice on ultrasounds, but this is the first time that we had actually been able to hear it, which is, I feel like that's just, that for me at least, is more meaningful to be able to hear it than to see it on the screen. Like, it means a lot to see it on the screen, but for me, it's the hearing it that really makes it real. And Lex was able to come with us to the appointment, and it was a really quick appointment, so it wasn't a big deal. And he kind of understood what it was. Like, Eric said, oh, that's, it's baby brother or baby sister, and Lex is convinced that it's a girl, so he calls it baby sister. And we don't talk about it a lot because I think it's still pretty, it's not a concrete thing yet, and I'm not really, my belly is not really that big, so there's not a lot for him to really grasp to understand it, but he did understand at least a little bit that was what we were hearing, and so that was cool. And we scheduled my anatomy scan, which I can't believe we're already at the point of scheduling that. So we scheduled it for the day that I turned 19 weeks, which is October 3rd, I think. It's a Monday. So that's really cool. It's like 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away. So that's crazy. And so I scheduled the anatomy scan, and then I have an appointment with an OB right after that, because the nurse at this appointment said that she wants, or they want me every 2 or 3 visits to see an OB, because I am a little bit higher risk, because I'm on the blood thinners. So that's fine. So I'll see an OB after that anatomy scan, and then we'll go from there. So otherwise, everything's going pretty well. There really hasn't been much going on. So I will show you my belly, which still does not really look like a pregnant belly, which is a little bit disappointing that it's taking a long time, but I remember that it took a long time the first time too. So it's not a big deal. It's fine. So let me see. So this shirt is, this is always interesting. This is actually a maternity shirt, and it's kind of flowy, so it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see that very well. That's the belly. So it's definitely like turning into something, but it doesn't really look quite pregnant yet. So it just kind of looks like a big belly, which is fine. It'll come eventually, and then I know I'll get super big, and I'll wish that it was a little smaller. So, so that is it for today for week 16, and I will be back next week for 17-week update. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to you again soon.